Hi, today we are going to talk about how it feels to teach online for the first time and how to overcome beginner's nerves. So, how did you feel the first time you started teaching online?
So I'm the kind of person that doesn't really like to, venture out of my comfort zone. So online teaching was definitely that for me. It was way out of my comfort zone, and it was something that I never really thought I would be doing. So something so new was just so nerve-wracking for me. But I remember my very first lesson was with a boy who was about 5 years old, and that's my preferred age group. So that made me excited, just knowing that I'll be teaching that age group, for my first lesson. So it kind of gave me a bit of, or it kind of gave me something to look forward to. But at the same time, I was extremely nervous. I was so scared that I was going to mess up and not know what to do if I messed up, or if, my computer failed, or something went wrong with my technology or in the online classroom. So there was a lot of nerves and uncertainty around the whole first lesson. But of course, with anything new, the longer you do it, the easier and the less stressful it becomes. So my very first lesson was extremely nerve-wracking. I would honestly say I didn't really enjoy it that much because I was too stressed out. But yeah, I can confidently say now those nerves go away very, very quickly as you start getting into more lessons and get more bookings. How about you?
So, I must say that my first experience is actually just like yours. I'm also a creature of habit. I like to be in my little bubble. So for me to actually put myself out there was a big deal. But I'm actually glad that I did, because like with you, I gained a lot of confidence within myself, and I realized that I can do it. And yeah, so my first class, I was also extremely nervous. My heart was pumping, I was shaking. But after a few minutes, I actually realized there's no point in being this nervous, because maybe the student is feeling exactly the same way as you, if not more nervous. So eventually I just started to relax. I got my props and I had so much fun with it. And I realized that it's okay to let your inner child come out and play. And since then, yes, I still get nervous here and there, which I think is normal. But yes, my confidence has definitely increased, and I would not take that away from anything in the world.
Definitely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Those first couple of lessons are always going to be so scary. And there's not much you can do about it. Just kind of go along with it.
That's
Um,
true.
for me, when I started, I was extremely structured with my planning, with preparing for my lessons, and that's not always a bad thing. But I think over time, I've become less structured and less kind of putting less time into planning per se, just because
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 3 years now. I've kind of found those tips and tricks to kind of minimize my planning time, having those props ready to go, kind of creating a little bit of a prop storage for myself where I can just grab, whichever prop I think goes with that lesson. So over time, my planning has become a lot less, and I'm not as structured with my planning, just because I've kind of got a bit of experience. But I want to know from you, has your planning changed at all, since your first couple of lessons, or maybe your first year of online teaching to now?
Oh, yes, definitely. When I first started, it took me a lot longer because I wasn't as confident at that stage. And I wanted to ensure that I knew what each lesson entailed. What were the different lesson outcomes? Did I really understand the grammar, that was being presented. So for me, I had to make sure that I understood the answers as well for, for each activity or game, because you don't want to sit there and then you actually don't know what you're talking about, because that will be felt by your students. And obviously, if your lesson gets watched or observed, that will also reflect badly on you. So it is important to always make sure that you are well, prepared. So at that stage, it did take me a lot longer. But with you now, because it has been three or more years, my planning has reduced a lot, because I know a lot of the materials and I've taught the same lessons over and over again. So I think the only time that it does take me longer is when I have many classes for that specific day. And if I'm a bit uncertain about specific grammar points, like if I feel a bit rusty, then it will take me a little bit longer.
Definitely, I couldn't agree more. So how would you say your confidence has changed? What kind of things have helped you gain more confidence as you've gone through your online teaching journey?
So I think the main thing for me was the feedback that I received, especially during my first 2 weeks of teaching. We got feedback like every few days. And to see the positive comments, about how I was teaching and my teaching persona, that really helped me and boosted my confidence so much. So for that, I would be, always, grateful for that. And even though my lessons weren't perfect, they always gave me guidance and tips on how I can maybe do things a bit differently. So from that, it's really helped me a lot. And I think that is the number one thing that I can really think of. And for you?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think feedback is key. It's always nice to know, when you're doing good, or what other people kind of observe from your lesson. So I think that's a great point you made there. For me, what's helped me with my confidence is group lessons. They are extremely intimidating. You have, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids at a time, and it can be very intimidating and stressful. So kind of just learning to manage those lessons has helped me overall. Going into a one-on-one lesson, it's a lot less stressful, and you just kind of have more, I would say, skill to manage that lesson better. So for me, hands down, group lessons has helped a lot. And another thing that I've kind of learned on my online teaching journey is just to be flexible and putting yourself out there. Don't be scared to make mistakes and be silly at times, just kind of put yourself out there, be flexible, adapt, and just have a good time. So I would say those things have helped me gain confidence throughout my online teaching journey.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. I like that. And I think just one more thing is, if you see a student for the first time and, then they rebook with you, then that also has, boosted my confidence, because then I know, okay, I really got through to the students and they really seem to enjoy the way that I teach. So that is also another aspect that I absolutely love. So with that being said, do you have any top tips for new teachers?
I can think of 3 that I kind of wish I knew when I started. So the first thing would be just to be prepared, as best you can. You can't be 100% prepared because, we're working with technology, things can go wrong, but just kind of control those controllables and the things that you are able to prepare for. That would be my first tip. My next tip is just to be authentic, just be yourself. Don't try and be somebody else. Students will learn to like the way you teach, and you will get those regular students that, like you as a teacher. So just be yourself, have fun, be authentic, and yeah. And my last tip would be to not dwell on mistakes. You know, they are going to happen. It's the nature of the business. We're working with technology, online classrooms, you teaching a foreign language. So there is a lot of room for error and mistakes, and it's just going to happen. But don't, you know, spend too much time thinking about it. Learn from it and move on. So those would be my 3 top tips. How about you?
All right. So if you are a teacher who is just beginning, remember, it's okay to be nervous, you know, because it shows that you care. So don't worry about that. And planning is extremely important. You know, just like how you said, make sure that you know the ins and the outs of the course and the aims, and make sure that you understand and know how to explain different grammar concepts, because otherwise, what's the point? You know, what are they going to learn then? Yeah, and just believe in yourself, have fun. You know, like you said, it's okay to make mistakes because you can learn from it if you want to. And yeah, so that would be my top 3 tips as well. So if you have any more experiences, or if there's something that you would like to comment or share, please can you do so by liking, sharing, or commenting. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Bye. Become a TEFL expert with IQTEFL. Go to our website at www.iqtefl.com to find out more.